Hello, Aston Aunties, winners of the mid-season finals, beating Huddersfield White in a best of three, a pretty interesting best of three. Um, you've been placed at the top of the points table for quite a while now, showing you're very strong. Um, if you could all introduce yourselves, I'll just introduce the person who isn't here, who is your top laner, Kieran Mexi Reed, who unfortunately can't be here. But we'll start with Jungle. Could you introduce yourself, please?
I'm my name's Josh. I'm Jet I'm the jungler for the team.
Don't worry, don't need any more than that. You're mid laner?
Okay.
I'm Wood League, Shahan. Uh, I'm basically the faker of this team.
Two, right?
And your ADC?
My name is Marcus Riot, MSR, shot caller for the team.
And your support.
My name is Matty Chung, and I'm the support.
So, to begin with, how did your team start?
Shall I go first, yeah?
Go for
Yeah,
it.
you-
So, what happened was, when I was talking about last year, how I got disappointed when I disbanded teams and put them together. So this year I wanted to be properly prepared. So in the summer holidays, I had to look who already registered on the NUEL website and literally added all the decent players on League. And I had a tryout team. So literally had tryouts, tried out all the players, and that's why Best Jace, who was top lane originally, and then I was like, oh, I need a decent support. So I brought him down to support, and we played a few games, and then Mexi came along, and there were another few good top laners that I could have introduced, but that's how we had like a month pre-season of practicing together in a tryout team. I think we got it to like Diamond 4 now, which is pretty good considering it was only a tryout team.
It's pretty crazy. I
Yeah.
don't think many of the teams in New York can claim to be in Diamond on their ranked team.
Yeah, so that's pretty much how we got together. So it's quite, I think, organised way to start a team, definitely.
Were any of you friends before the team began?
I was friends with Shahan.
yeah, me
Matt,
and Max used to play solo queue a lot.
yeah,
And I found it through the esports society as well. So
Yeah, I was playing on the website like just before uni started. So I was already playing games with them before we were going to uni.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty
Did
cool.
you get on right off the bat? Do you feel you gelled as a team quite well?
I think so, yeah. Apart
there's-
from our top lane, he's a bit AFK most of the time, so he hasn't gelled as well just yet. It's just because we don't speak to him as much, but
I think he's been performing recently though.
Yeah.
Like, a lot better than before. Because he used to be MIA during practice a lot, but now he's like getting his boots on, practicing with us. But it looks like he's getting more passionate about like NUEL. Because
Yeah.
like it looks like now we have an actual chance of maybe winning this.
Mm.
And I think me and Marcus also had a better synergy on bot lane because Marcus didn't really practice with anyone else, and like we're quite aggressive players, both of us.
yeah.
So that as well we've noticed is also a weakness of us.
Something we need to control a bit, but yeah, take
Yeah.
it as it goes.
So when you first made the team, what were your ambitions? Did you think you could be the absolute best team, or were you just aiming for the top? Like,
Yeah, I
Top
knew we were
8.
going to win this straight away, literally, because I'll put it in perspective for you. Last year we had me and Shahan, who were the only diamond players on the team. We had a couple gold players and maybe one plat or something like that, and we reached the top 30 with like a substandard roster, in my opinion. And as soon as we started to get Josh in the jungle, he was master tier when he joined, and we had diamond bot lane, and Shahan in the mid lane, who plays a lot, who's like climbed really high. As soon as we got a roster that was higher than diamond, I was like, this is really free win for us. So that's in my eyes, that's how I felt that this competition was going so far. It's like it's planned out exactly how I expected.
blimey. So you were very confident in the team.
Yeah, I'm always confident though, so it can be my downfall.
I think that's important as well because if you're not confident, you lose a lot.
Yeah.
'Cause you're afraid to make the big plays, like
Yeah.
a box makes every time in bot lane.
Oh, see, I'm quite confident. How come I'm not in Challenger then?
Yeah, you have to have mechanics that go with it as well.
Oh, I see. Okay. So it's not all confidence then.
It's a 50-50 relationship, I guess.
Yeah, if you have
Blimey,
mechanics but no
50-50.
confidence, then you're not gonna make the most out of it.
Yeah. So to get passive players and stuff that don't carry games. In my opinion, anyway. Yeah.
What do you think you've struggled with the most so far as a team? I mean, nothing by the sounds of it.
One of the issues was shot calling, because as an ADC, Marks usually does the shot calling, and it was an issue at the start because it's hard for him to position himself and pay attention to micromanagement.
Exactly.
But I think it's gotten better as it's gone on.
I think Marcus is because I think you jungled last year, didn't you, Marcus?
Yeah.
So he has really good like map awareness and rotations. So he calls like a lot of that, and we listen to that straight up normally. And then what happens in team fight is normally me, Josh, and Shahan will call like little things if we like make a play or something, and our team will collapse on it. So that's like kind of how we function now.
Have you guys played a lot as a team then?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think on the tryout team we've had like 150 games, and then we have another ranked team that we haven't done too much in, but we still got 33 games on that as well, which is quite a lot considering we only started playing in September.
We do practice about like 5 or 6 hours every single Wednesday.
Oh goodness me.
And you know, after the ULB that loss, it really opened my eyes that we need to practice a bit more, because we got a bit complacent, not gonna lie. So I decided that we're gonna practice every day.
Practice for like a couple of days before that.
Yeah. So I think the loss just made us a stronger team in essence, because it made me switch on a bit more that okay, maybe there is a team that can beat us if we don't concentrate. So
We got complacent. One of the reasons was because in qualifiers we beat them by quite a lot. I think the end score was 37-7.
Yeah. Like Shahan was 17-0. I think we only had like 2 death max on the team, like per person, if you know what I mean.
yeah, and probably the 7 kills were like suicides at the end of the game, which is just buffed their scores a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically that's the reason that we fell down in that first finals, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's a win-win for us in a sense that it made us switch on a bit more.
So how did you prepare for? How did the difference between the first best of 3 and the second best of 3 differ in like how you prepared for them?
I feel as though we focus a lot more on our pick and ban phase, especially with like what we preferred to play, what they preferred to play, picking around that, and how we focus on the map as well, like shot calling as well, because that was one issue in our UOB game, our best of 3 when we lost. Because literally as soon as we like lost our lead, we just stopped talking.
Yeah.
We just become all quiet,
Also,
and then yeah.
Also, a big issue for me in that game was that they obviously banned the least and the least in the UOB.
Yeah.
So I just fell back on picking Gragas and Rek'Sai, which is like, you know, the standard tier 2 jungle picks after their ban. And that didn't work out very well for us because we never win games when I'm playing tanks, basically.
Yeah. Like I decided. Go on, Josh.
We changed our picks to me picking like, you know, carry jungles instead. Like me picking up more of them, like such as Rengar, which I just played. And it worked out a lot better.
Yeah. So like I decided that it's better to have our jungler on a carry position, because in that sense it just worked better with our team, because Josh is very mechanically gifted. So if we have the tankish bruiser in the top lane, it worked out for our composition. So I just built loads of compositions, and I said, Josh, all right, we know they're going to ban out your Lee Sin and Elise. Let's just expand your pool to every other aggressive jungler, so that it's impossible to ban you out. And then what can they do? And then it showed against the Huddersfield final, they banned the Lee Sin and Elise, and we just pull out a pocket pick that Josh has been practicing really hard. And
Especially in our game before the Huddersfield one, like everyone would copy the bans of UOB, which is literally what everyone has done against us because they think that's our like only weakness.
yeah,
And since that UOB game, we practiced a lot, and in those 3 games, we absolutely stomped those 3 teams. I think it was like Bath, South Wales. It was literally like one game we didn't actually die until the very end, where we tried to tower dive them in the Nexus.
yeah.
So
Do you take care of picks and bans as a team then, or is there any individual who has a little bit more in charge?
I think Marcus is a lot like.
Yeah, I tend to do a lot of research beforehand. But what I do is, I give my own opinion. I decide this is what I want to pick and ban, and then I ask my team, is there any champ that you really don't want to play against? I say, yo, this is the enemy champ pool. For example, the Huddersfield mid laner played LeBlanc a lot, so I said to Shahan, shall I just ban that out for you? Because usually we tend towards the supporty bans, so it's just like the Tom Kenches, the Sorakas that are really annoying in the laning phase. But we worked out that LeBlanc might be a problem in the mid lane, so just took it out of the game. It's just like, I come up with a general gist of what I want to ban and the kind of idea of where I want to go, then I just let the team know, and then we take it from there, really.
Brilliant. So how much do you think like the team has really grown from when it began? Do you think you're so much better now than you were when it started, or do you think you've just sort of grown better as a unit?
I think they're a lot better now, because we've been playing against a few challenger teams solo queue as well, and playing against them you learn how they play as well, and you adapt to it. So you
we lost against one challenger team, didn't we? Early in our ranked 5 tryouts.
Yeah.
It was like a complete stomp against us, but just previously we actually beat a challenger master tier game.
Yeah.
And we actually like from that game we focus on what we did well against them and what we didn't do well, which we can then mirror it into NUEL.
Yeah,
I
I think
think a lot of it for me was I used to play a lot of solo queue before. I never really played team games, so transitioning from solo queue, because I used to play like a lot. It took me a lot to get to master basically. So I used to play like a solo queue player when I first started, like all the time. And I still do sometimes, but it's gone a lot better. So
yeah, but yeah, definitely practice against the higher tier teams in ranked 5s has changed the way we view the game. Because in NUEL, like the highest teams you'll reach, maybe like there's one or two master players. The rest are like ranging between diamond. And once you start experiencing playing against full master teams and master teams with challenger mid laners and stuff, it really opens your eyes to like different strategies that will win harder games. So I think ranked 5s is really key to succeeding in NUEL, in my opinion anyway.
Interesting. Without giving too much away, what do you guys think you're going to be working on in the off season then, between now and when the season starts back up again?
I think just making sure we practice and keeping up with patch notes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because basically we fall behind on patch notes sometimes. Like obviously the OB game we didn't know what to do in the patch. I was buying like odd items on support and they weren't like goal efficient compared to normal ones.
Yeah. And I was building incorrect build paths on ADC. I was literally building Callus so I could build it pre-patch, and then I realised after, okay, maybe I should have changed my build path a bit.
It's basically before, in our opinion, before this new patch, we would stomp everyone in NUEL just mechanically. And like obviously with our teamwork we can just pull that off, but with the new patch it's a lot harder because if we make a mistake, that can capitalise a lot on us.
Proper snowballing.
What do you
And
guys... Oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah, and you gotta find the OP picks that are like kind of hard to spot. Like the Karma one was doing really well for us in the ranked teams, even though it's not like an obvious pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also like one that a lot of people haven't played against it for a long time, so it shocks people, and like they don't actually know how to play against this champ, especially in the mid lane.
Did Josh just DC?
Yeah, we've lost Josh.
No, Josh! He left us. But yeah, I think in the gap now, I'll probably organise ranked 5s for us and make sure we just keep refreshed on the new patches. If we do that, I think we should be good to go when the season starts again. I'm not sure when it is, but yeah, should be good. Should be good.
What do you think of the? I suppose it's pre-season. The pre-season changes so far. I mean, there's been some pretty huge changes to ADCs and their items, and some of the AD items have changed massively. What do you think?
Well, being a Vayne main, I was kind of iffy because you don't build, playing Vayne with Blade the Rune King for like however long, for so many seasons,
Yeah.
and then it just got taken out the build path, and then getting used to that is kind of weird, but then once you got used to it, like the new build path, you get 60% crit off attack speed items. It's kind of stupid on Vayne, and especially because they buffed to W. Like all these little changes that you wouldn't think would matter, you just buffed Vayne crazily, and Lucian is super strong as well. It's just basically every ADC is OP as hell right now. Like, we were considering playing an ADC in the mid lane just because of the power spikes, and because you can snowball so hard in these games. Like you finish the games pre 20 minutes usually, so they got no chance to stack armor like in most full AD comps, which could be a strategy we might pull out. Don't know yet. Just have to wait and see.
Do you think it favours your team, the new meta, the faster games, strong ADCs?
I think so.
It does and it doesn't.
Like I
For
like
like that.
okay, like that.
Is everyone back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back.
We all just
Okay.
disconnect. I was just...
It was just you for a while.
Ah, Josh. Yeah, the meta's like I love my hyper carries, which tend towards the late game, but now you can kind of get your spike a bit faster, so it kind of is a win-win in certain situations. But then again, it's not. It's like a lose-lose. For example, you know, for when we're playing against UOB and I fall behind in like a Vayne or a Jinx or something like that, it really snowballs against you really hard. So you gotta decide carefully what your picks want to be. So it's interesting.
What about in the mid lane? How's the mid lane right now?
Basically, what happens is if another lane loses, and if their team rotates into mid lane, and they take the tower, then it really ruins your lane. So as long as everyone holds up for the first 15 or so minutes, I can usually win my lane.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's proper snowbally like that, because if they get that tower in the mid lane, it opens up the jungle for them to, like, literally just take control of, because you don't have that protection in the middle. Which is, if you lose that turret at like 8 minutes, it makes the game super hard to control. You got no control over your jungle, they're just in and out. It's a pain, really.
Is there anything that you guys think should be fixed before the regular season for League starts again? Is there anything you think is really OP and like really does need to be changed?
I think there's a good balance of it. It's like there's nothing that stands out as really OP apart from like the heal changes. You know how the grievous wounds affects how it's only self-healing.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty hard to play against, but other than that, there's not much.
Yeah, that was another point I wanted to get onto. In the Huddersfield game, in the final match, we kind of baited him into the Soraka pick, which was kind of funny. Because I knew he was going to pick Soraka, but what happened was he gave Matt his Thresh, which in sense is really good against Soraka, because if you hook her, she is going to die. So I was banking on that game, baiting him into the meta pick, and then we just win the game that way, which it worked out in the end.
In the after the second game where you got beat down pretty hard,
Yeah.
what kind of preparation did you do in that period? Because you said in the past you guys go a little bit quiet when you've lost. Were you all a little bit down after that? How did you feel going into the third game?
I was a bit tilted, to be fair. Like, I wasn't playing like what I'd normally be playing, and like, also we've had like bad experience with Callista. We lost against UOB with Callista, we lost against Huddersfield with Callista, and we just don't feel as though like we can fit it in our comp properly at the moment.
Yeah. That was the thing.
I was really upset that game because I finally got my hands on Lee Sin, and then I couldn't do anything in the early game at all.
Yeah. It was like we had the usual start. We were super far ahead in all the lanes, and we did one rotation in the bot lane, and we just got 5-man Gnar ulted against the wall. After that, I kind of was like, I don't know how to get back in this game, and as a shot caller, I think I need to work on maybe that. Like if that happens again, what do I do in that situation? Because if you have a look at the graphs, we were getting a decent lead up to like 6 minutes, and all of a sudden we just get aced and it just goes downhill from there. Which, if as a shot caller I can't lead the team in that situation, then I'm not doing my job really. So that game was kind of my fault in that sense that, well, it is my fault. If I could have shot called my way out of the losing battle, then it would have been fine, because we were really far ahead. It was just
we did lead early.
Yeah, the Gnar. I think that was another thing. We let the Gnar get through because I knew he was a Gnar player, but I thought we could deal with it, and then it became apparent that maybe that needs to be taken out of the game.
We realised he only played Gnar in NUEL. Like
Yeah.
every single game that they win, Gnar. Every single game they played, Gnar.
Yeah.
So we just banned that, and then obviously he picked Hecarim, and we were like, okay, we were gonna pick Hecarim, and then it turned out he was terrible in Hecarim. Like he level 1 death. I don't understand how you can like
Yeah,
let that happen, even in a diamond game.
and especially when you take an ignite in the top lane as well. So.
Oh yeah, we didn't understand what happened there. Mexi on Sion just pulled it out the bag and got first blood and a Hecarim, and then continued to 1v2 the lane.
Yeah, it's
I
a
really
shame he's
raised
not
the
here.
morale.
I really
Yeah.
wanted to talk about the Sion pick, because that's an interesting one.
It was kind of
It was last minute.
out of nowhere. We were like, what tanks can you play, Mexi? Just bring something out.
We needed a tank that had like follow-up engage on the Lysandra
Yeah.
that we had. So he just said silence. Sounds fine.
So you described what you were feeling sort of towards the end of the second game, but like, did you have any like team talk between the games that sort of allowed you to pull your heads a little bit out of the feeling of defeat to rally yourself to the third game?
I think we're kind of used to losing because of our ranked fives. Basically, like in our ranked fives, we always get to promo to Plat 3, and then we always lose our promos to Plat 3. And then we're always like, okay.
Diamond 3, Matty, Diamond 3. God.
Oh yeah, Diamond 3, sorry. Plat 3. Yeah. But yeah, like...
Yeah, literally, when we lost that game, I asked I can't remember who it was, it might have been one of the commentators of the game, can we have a little bit of extra time? And I was just sitting there, I literally got a cup of tea, and I was like, alright, let me just write down exactly what we want to do and what our aim is. Because I think that's really important before you start a match. If you don't have an aim of what you want to do in that game, for example, you want the jungler to camp the mid lane, to shut down this guy, and I want you to rotate at certain times in the game. If you don't have that overall like macro level strategy, there's no point in trying to play as a team. So after that game, I was like, okay, the best way to shut this team down is just attack the bot lane. And the fact that Mexi was winning the top lane solo, it just made the game finish in like sub 20 minutes. But literally,
I think
yeah.
picks were a huge part of it as well. I don't think picks were very smart going into the second game after winning the first
Yeah.
game.
Jet, did you just mute your mic?
Yeah, I can't hear him
Pick
either.
hard engage against them. So we just relied on my Lee Sin engage, which is like, it's not hard engage, it's like, he's unreliable basically. You can't really class read Lee Sin as a reliable engage, so.
Yeah, we were relying on the Orianna ults, but I couldn't really get in with the thresh in my face. So I couldn't get any big ultis off. So one of the main things we did was take the thresh off them, and Matty's really good at it as well, so.
It was a win-win for us, really.
They had no one that could make a play on us apart from Hecarim. But Hecarim was obviously stomped out, so.
I think it was really important to get that pick ban phase right for that third game, because for some reason they took the Lulu, which we expected them. We knew they were going to take the Lulu, and they took the Soraka. So in that situation, you want to take a hyper carry for your team, and then he picked Ashe, and Ashe Soraka bot lane is just waiting to get camped, to be honest. So I don't know what their thought process was, but in that respect, we outpicked them, if you know what I mean.
He also picked an MF into Malphite.
Yeah.
Like, her ult's going to be completely useless against our team if she's going to do that.
That was the first game. Yeah, I think we're getting stronger at the pick ban phase, which was one of our weaknesses early on, especially in the University of Birmingham. Like the pick ban phase was just, what should we ban, lads?
Which picked solo key champs.
Yeah. So I think that's a real key development that we've made over the time. It's the pick ban phase.
So, do you think you guys moving into the future? Do you think you can really stay on top? Do you think there's have any of the teams really looked like they can give you a real run for your money, given you're going to be getting stronger and stronger?
Not really.
I feel as though, like, with more time, we're getting more practice.
Hmm.
And, like, with more practice, we're expanding champ pools, we're creating new comps. Like, I don't think other teams will be able to catch up with that, because I don't think other teams go as hard as us. Like,
I don't know, the
watching their
Birmingham
games.
guys are pretty intense. I know that.
Yeah.
Mm,
I'm a pretty strict
true.
captain, like, so if my team's not coming to practice, I'm like, yo, you get your ass on. I literally have them like on every social media to try and get them to come online. But honestly, after playing most of the team, the only top tier team that I haven't played against yet is the Cambridge team, which I really want to play against because apparently they're really good. But having experienced all the other teams, I've been watching the replays. They make so many mistakes. But we made those mistakes too. But if you want to be a top tier team, you can't be making mistakes like that. It's because I'll put it in perspective for you. When we were playing the best of 3 versus University of Birmingham, right? They won the games 2-0, yeah, but they weren't clean at all. They were 40, 50-minute games, and if you imagine, this was an unprepared Aston team who were banning Morgana in the pick ban phase, which is kind of troll when you look back onto it. So, if a team with that kind of preparation has to take 50 minutes, especially in this patch, to close out a game, they might as well forget trying to win the finals, in my opinion.
That
anyway.
was also the second game against Huddersfield. The
Yeah.
best of 3. They took 40 minutes to close out. Our games, what was it, 20, 25 minutes?
Yeah, if you look at all the victories that we have, they close out sub 30 minutes, most of them 18 to 25 minutes, which is...
It's only when we're losing and we're trying to make a comeback that it extends like 30, 35 minutes.
Yeah. Like, in that
Some
respect,
words.
yeah.
We
Let's
expect a lot
practice.
from you guys.
Yeah, if we practice a lot, like, I try to get my team to practice a lot, there's no reason not to be confident. The only time the confidence will slip is if I think, oh, we haven't practiced enough, or we're unprepared. Then maybe my mind will change, but so far so good.
So if you guys could give advice to some of the lower tier teams, maybe in the regional leagues, what would it be?
Shot calling is a big issue in the regionals, I think. Like, you see a lot of the times junglers just walking on wards. Like, the bot lane should be calling where these wards are being placed, where, like, if people are missing them, etc. Like, just simple, even solo queue thing, like, that's what happens in solo queue.
Yeah. It's like, if you want to be a successful team, you have to firstly have one person with a dominant voice in the team who's gonna lead them, because our team, we experienced where there was 2 people, I'm not gonna name who, and where there was a contradiction in the game, which caused us to like drop a lead that we had, and after that, like, after the game, I just sat everyone down. I said, this is how it's gonna be, yeah, I don't want this to happen again. And ever since then, the team's become much stronger. I think it's really important that you have one person who can just direct the team, and then you give everyone else like other roles. For example, Matty, he always tells us when we need to buy certain trinkets, where wards are. Everyone has specific roles, and if the person's not fulfilling that role, then obviously your team's not going to work. For example, if the mid laner's not calling, if the mid laner went missing, or what direction of the map, the jungler's not calling where he thinks the enemy jungler is, because that's really important, because it gives you an idea of whether you can go on aggressive in a lane. And I don't think lower tier teams know how important that the small little bits of information make in a game, because it decides whether you can dive a turret, decides whether you can go aggressive, it decides whether you're going to go passive. It adds up in essence. But yeah.
See, I thought it was the other way around. I thought it was the teams that are in the national league that are all mechanically skilled, but they
Yeah.
can't quite push to be the best because they haven't got clear shot callers. I thought
Yeah.
you were all going to say, oh, well, if you're in the lower tier teams, just work on your mechanics and it'll carry you.
Honestly, I think last year, do you remember that team who only had gold and plat players? Mechanics can only take you so far.
Mechanics aren't quick fix either. It takes a while to build a mechanic.
Yeah. But if you can
It's-
rotate as a team, that's it. You can win games super easy.
Yeah, and if you have like easy team comps to pull off, like if you pull out like a Malphite and a Orianna or someone that's easier to play in mid lane and top, then you can just easily, you don't need them mechanics with a Malphite or with someone like a Gragas in jungle. Or
Yeah.
I think if you know your limits for your mechanics, you can base your picks around that. And it makes the game a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because it does take a while to build up mechanics.
It's true. And I don't think many teams do ranked 5s. Like, it's so fundamental to developing as a team, because they probably play like a couple scrim. I don't think scrims are that good, to be honest. Honestly, if you want to become a better team, if you do ranked 5s, it develops your mechanics because you play against much better players than like if you were playing against a scrim against another NUEL team. Like, the mechanics that you're going to face are much better, so you expect different things. It's just generally a whole lot better to play rank 5s. So if you want to improve as a team, yeah.
Brilliant. All right. Well, thank you very much, guys.
No problem.
That'll be it. It's been great having you, and I hope. Oh, I I almost forgot the most important question. Is what's the name? Where did the name Aston Aunties come from?
Oh my god.
I can't believe I almost forgot to ask.
Well, Matty can tell you that one.
Basically, we didn't know what to call the NUEL team, yeah, and everyone was just posting random names on the chat. We were like, alright. I was like, yeah, Aston Aunties, yeah, because that's what when I came to uni, like a lot of the freshers, they had an Aston Auntie was basically a second year, third year. I was like, alright, just call it one of them, and then Marcus was like, you troll, we're not calling it that. And then the next week, I log in and it's called Aston Aunties. I'm like, what the hell?
It was pretty troll, but I thought, you know what? It's a catchy name, and it'll stick if people hear about us. So
Alright.
yeah, thought I'd go with it.
Brilliant. All right. Well, I've been Oscar Pelling from the NUEL. Thank you very much.